An Untilled Field is a newly published novel by Dennis Carey. Now, the author was born in County Mayo, moving to Coventry as a 3-year-old. Today, I'm pleased to talk to him from his base in Northamptonshire. Dennis, good morning.
Yes, an Untilled Field is the title, Jerry. And the main character, I think, is 16-year-old Liam Walsh, who has been evicted from his home. His parents have been arrested by the Royal Irish Constabulary. He's left desolate. His house has been demolished, and he's looking after his 4-year-old brother, Aidan, who is also poorly. So Liam is the main character, but he forms a plan then to keep his brother alive, find his parents, and because he's a 16-year-old lad, he wants to come back and avenge the people who evicted him. He will need help in this, and help tends to come in from strange quarters. And there's another character who was based originally in Dublin. He moved to London for a few years, and he took up bare-knuckle fighting, Bernie. So Bernie then has the skills to pass on to Liam, and Liam sees this as his way of effecting revenge.
Okay. Now, it's a sort of a no-holds-barred insight into the hardships faced by people as they try and eke out a living in rural Ireland in the late 1800s.
Indeed.
Did you have to do a lot of research to ensure authenticity of the book?
Yes, tremendous, Jerry. It took a year to write, and I'm getting mixed comments on whether that's fast for a novel or slow. But there's a hell of a lot of reading involved, hell of a lot of research. It's important that we try and get it as authentic as possible. And one of the things I enjoy doing when I'm writing fiction is to blend it in with factual events in history, and I can have a bit of fun with that. But it is important to try and get it right. It involved reading a fair bit. It also involved going back to Mayo, which is a great excuse to go back to do a bit of research as well. There's another character in there, a Harriet Gardner character, who was a landowner at the time, and we spent a bit of time visiting the site of her home, just up from Ballina, a place called Kincon.
Right.
Very near.
Now, it's clear in the book that whilst the Walsh family and their contemporaries endure some great struggles, having been evicted, they show a huge amount of tenacity in uniting to try and reclaim their land and indeed their rights. Now, your depiction of this appears to be very realistic, even though the novel is actually fiction. It's quite hard-hitting, and the difficult circumstances not really in the whole situation being fudged.
I think it's fair to say it's a gritty book, Jerry, because the times were gritty. It was harsh conditions, and just trying to imagine how people felt when they were just evicted from their homes, land that they've lovingly tended, and I wanted to explore that with what the main family there. I feel that there was Till that was invested time and effort and all his resources in, and then to be evicted from that. There was a bit of a twist, and as a writer, you always ask what if, and what I wanted to explore is what if the son Liam, in this case, came back to visit that field and found that it had been neglected or untilled, which is where the title comes from. How would he react to that? And that was quite one of the things I just wanted to explore.
Right. Now, without giving too much away, it's an uplifting aspect to the plot is the relationship between the teenager Liam and Bernie, a world-weary prize fighter.
Yes, indeed, yes.
Now, Liam's actually been separated from his father and looks up to the older man who takes him under his wing. Now, it seems the outcome for each may have been different, but sort of for a chance meeting.
Yes. And I think that was the help that Liam needed. I think he, being young, he was incapable of carrying out his plan. He then met up with the character Bernie, and that's part of his politicalization as well. So he gets him into the land movement. Bernie is more connected through his associations in Dublin. And it takes him along to a couple of meetings, and that's when he starts to think about the whole idea. It's also at the time and the lead up to the Land League, the Irish Land League. And whilst they're mentioned in the text, and some of the main characters come into the book. This is all part of Liam's politicalization, if we call it like that.
Okay, I'd like to turn to some of the female characters in the book. Now, you actually portray many of the women as being very strong characters.
All right, okay. I'm glad you think that, Jerry. Good.
Right, both good and bad. Now, was it important to you to show the influence of women during this time?
I think it's fair to say that whilst the men were out there labouring in the field, the women were out there also labouring in the field. And it was probably the women who took care of things, who got things done. I've tried to reflect a little bit of that in Liam's parents, would you believe? A particularly determined mother. The father was perhaps a bit more reasonable and forgiving. So I've tried to portray that. There's also a very strong character, I mentioned her already, the Harriet Gardner, who was quite notorious in Irish history, that part of the world. She was quite a determined woman. She had a few flaws, a few characteristic flaws, which I've managed to bring out in the novel, I think. But she was interesting and quite a powerful woman herself.
Right, now reviews on Amazon are positive, and
good.
You recently had a book launch in Coventry. Was it well received?
That's right. Yes, very well received, Jerry. I'm delighted with it. That was my Coventry book launch. We've got a Manchester book launch lined up for Friday, the 4th of March. So next week at the Mayo Manchester. That's in Levenshulme in Fred's Ale House on Friday evening. So looking for a repeat of the Coventry would be fantastic, because it went down very well. So I was delighted with that.
Excellent. Now, in Untilfield, it's a gritty, powerful read set against the period of the land wars in Ireland. It's available from Amazon, priced at $7.99. You can see the link on the review on the website www.irishradio.org. Listen, wish you, Dennis, every success with the book, and thanks for talking us through the content.
Jerry, thank you very much, and thanks for the review. I appreciate it, and thanks for the link, and thanks for the interview. It's great to be having on.
A real pleasure, Dennis. Continued success.
Okay, thank you very much, Jerry.